I was on a Monster and a 5-hour energy, so my mind's just going. I was like hamster in a wheel.
Cokehead from the 80s, just like, I got ideas.
Seriously, it's
I got all these ideas.
Give me a pen. I have no pen.
I lost it. It's gone. Smash your head into a wall.
And then I'm driving 48 cheerleaders and prom girls all the way back from Noble, Oklahoma, going. Seriously, I had a Chris Farley going. Precious kids.
Were you driving the bus?
Oh yeah, I'm a bus driver, dude. I love that. Kids, when you get jacked up on some high-powered caffeine and drive children at midnight. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Yeah, 100%. I just had that.
Yeah, the visual.
Dear God, everybody stop.
Your precious field trip. Yeah, I'm like.
That's amazing. So you're a bus driver. So you're a part-time bus driver. I had no idea. Man, you really are a Renaissance man.
I need to be sitting there and like, Danielle, and I got it on. No, you didn't. You can imagine what it'd be like.
No, I didn't. And then you called Happy Gilmore, or not Happy Gilmore. What is it? That's Billy Madison, kids.
Yes,
Billy Madison. Look it up. So it's from the 1900s.
The other thing, we're sitting there, and I was walking through because we didn't get time. We had to leave early. Didn't get time to eat dinner. So we left, and Danielle and I are sitting there at 10 o'clock at night in the bus, waiting for the game to end. We're beating them like 800 to nothing. And I'm like, we haven't had dinner. We're not going to get, Walmart's going to be closed. We go through Tuttle. There's nothing there. Yeah. It's going to be after midnight before we get anything to eat. And then I started walking through. I was like, hey, one of the cheerleaders left a bag of chips here. There's another. So then I'm picturing me and Danielle outside the bus going, eating all their food. So it's great movie. It's good stuff. Dude, I will say it time and time again. I've been so, I said like earlier, nervous. I even told Danielle last night, I'm nervous, but I'm nervous for a good reason. I'm nervous that I'm like, oh my gosh, I want this to go so well, but I'm so nervous it's back. This could really, I just really feel that our brains were they were cooked up somewhere like, hey, once they get together, let's see what happens when you mix them in a cup, and that's going to be really weird. Someone's going to drink that, and it's going to be like, ooh, we're really going to scar some people.
Yeah, there's a good chance.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a good chance, for sure. So so why did you want to actually start this? Like, what was your original intention when you were like, I want to do a podcast? What was, like, where did that moment come from? You know, when did this happen? Was it like an epiphany moment kind of a thing? Like what?
And it really was.
Well, yeah, why did you want to do this?
It was, I'm an old, so you know that. And you're inching way, way, way behind me, but you're coming up there. You know, you're getting to that point.
Oh, yeah.
My body aches when I get up in the morning. There's noises I never thought I'd make. And then the dad noise when you get up. You gotta make that sound.
Yeah.
My son Keegan decided he was looking through some stuff, and I always saw him sitting on his phone. I was like, what are you doing? And he was listening to things. He's like, I'm just listening to this podcast on this, this, and this. And I'm thinking, I thought that was just like some kind of little something that kids were doing. It was something hip that I had not seen. And I didn't realize that I'd been watching or kind of been a part of watching some of them that were on videos or on TV or whatever it was. Yeah. And I didn't realize. And I started, once you get into, because, if you're in Facebook, you're an old. So, none of the cool kids have that. So the kids are like, oh, you guys don't even understand. Sure. And I'm watching them do Snapchat, taking pictures of their feet and their knees. I'm like, why does that have anything to do with anything? And so I've always downplayed anything that they had going.
Sure.
So I said, what are you talking about? He's like, look, it's right here. And started flipping through the phone and saw the icon. He's like, I just type in, OU football, or I type in this, or I type in that. Okay. And all these things popped up. Well, I was like, okay, is it on all topics?
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
What is this podcast you talked about? And so I found a page that I started listening to, and it hit me because like, oh my gosh. So I just started listening in the truck. I'm always in my truck doing things. And I started listening, and I was thinking, this is so unique. Like, I'm just finding something. It's like this new little toy.
Yeah.
But it was something that completely took me over. I was like, this is something that I need to look deeper into. So I started looking into the topics of the things, because Daniel and I, we've spoken at all these different venues and all these keynote speakers for things, and I thought I'd love to take this deeper. I'd love to do something more because of all the experiences that we've had in life. I've, as we've said earlier, I've fallen on my face so many times. It's like, hey, don't do this, try this. Yeah. Now it's fun. Again, like I said, it's fun falling on your face sometimes and just to get the experience. Sure. But I've always been one that's like, I want to utilize the kind of the things that we've gone through in life and the struggles we've had, to try to help those that are coming behind us.
Yeah.
And so I started looking at this going, noticing that anybody can just grab a mic and start talking. There's a million of them.
The million. Yeah.
And I saw it, and so we started kind of discussing things. Danielle and I just were looking at like, hey, you can talk about this or that. And I started looking at the topics, but I noticed that there wasn't anything out there that really, it was more of a kind of an instructional manual of like, try these things and you can move forward in life, or try these things and you can better your life with your child. But it wasn't anything that really resonated with me, because I don't respond well to it, or I don't adhere to kind of the I guess the status quo, all that good stuff. I want something that's just going to go a little bit deeper, because we're not a normal family, but who is? Yeah. And I think normalcy is crap. I just don't like, I see those, the families with the sweaters on, and, drinking their lattes. Just awful humans. But
there's horrible things.
I drove this morning. I'm driving this morning, and I look over, and I swear it was Tesla walking down the street, all cut up jeans. The dude's got hair down mid back. The other dude, like long hair freaky people. Yeah, long hair freaky people need not apply. I'm like, no, but do. Because that's the thing, that's where my life is. And I know that there's a lot of people like me. I know that God made this right here, and I'm sorry, world, but
you broke the mold.
Not just the mold, my parents should be beaten, all those things. And I know that that's instilled in my children. The only reason that my children aren't hanging and living and swinging from trees is my wife's DNA that's in their body, because that makes them halfway human. Because I don't know what this is.
Neanderthal. I would assume there's a good chunk of Neanderthal.
It's a whole glob of, what is that? It's like the kids, it's like when I walk through sometimes, the parents pull their children closer, pearl clutching and whatever else.
Sure. Yeah. No, I agree. I think people are more hungry for like nuanced conversations as opposed to, because I feel like everything just like more and more and more with every year, everybody's attention spans get smaller and smaller and smaller, and like short form content becomes like the only content it appears. And I feel like the reason podcasts do so well is because I think somewhere inside people want a more natural conversation. People want something that's more nuanced and goes into depth, and not just like surface level quick stuff, or just impersonal this, that, and fact, and TikTok life hack, you can do this thing, I think people want more than that, you know what I mean? So even though they've like hacked the human brain in some senses with short form content, because people do have short attention spans and they need that quick dopamine, burst from like, quick stimulation, and even though that is very much a part of the brain, but I think there's still this like other side of it too that's like, but I want more than that, and I want to be able to go into conversations and deeper topics and talk about them in a multifaceted, more nuanced kind of a way. I feel like that's why I think they're so popular. Yeah, you know what I mean, in general. So yeah, have you looked around? Because I never really spent any time looking at podcasts inside of this like world, inside of these like kinds of topics before. Are there other?
There are some, but again, it's just like you said, it's just that surface level stuff. It's like, we're going to give you, here's the 3 steps to get through here to here. And it didn't resonate. When I'd listened to it, I was tired, and I was angry in the sense of like, that's the same, and dang it, I'm trying to be good and I know you're going to edit this thing. You're going to say the stupid bullshit that they're throwing out, but I know we'll take that out. It was something that, I was tired of hearing the same thing. So it was more like, it felt like more like a clinical training kind of a thing, like as if you were like in a workshop and like, here's the 3 steps to decrease problematic behavior in your child, blah, blah, blah. Here's your curriculum. We'll slide over. You look through these steps right here and everything will be good. Because you see, there's like, it's so hard I feel like to have like nuance and perspective today. I feel like that gets lost so much nowadays, and to see like, there's such a wide array of families and kids and personalities, and then even within one clinical diagnostic criteria, one diagnosis, like even within autism, let's say, that is such a diverse, wide range, and I feel like it makes it really tough to have anything that's generalized in that sense of like, because there's such a wide range of kids. And I always thought that was what I think on some level makes your family really like an interesting, from like a clinical perspective, it's an interesting case study as a family, because you have such a wide range of abilities and needs within one home. What the F are you trying to say about my family?
I'm trying to say that you need a lot of help, right? And I'm just trying to say, but I think that's like a really like interesting piece to be able to see like one family that is able to work through such a variety of medical needs, functional needs, language support, all the different aspects and avenues of it, and be able to do it with such humor and love and coming together where this kid's helping this kid, you know what I mean, and like your boys are like helping each other in the ways that they can, and to see the like support that they give to each other, or the lack thereof at times too, you know what I mean, where they're just like, nope, I can't help you with that, dude, like I feel like, and I think that is like such what makes your family, I think, especially unique in that respect, you know what I mean, which is why I'm sure it's helped to lend you to be such a great speaker,
I noticed that you did step grace. No grace there. We're not graceful. We're just humorous.
Like physically graceful. I don't know. I've never watched.
Have you seen this move? It's hypnotic. I mean, it will. I mean, sorry.
Do you do the like belly roll?
This thing gets after it. The truffle shuffle, but we do it like. All
right. Well, we'll have to make that our outro from here on out. It's just thanks for tuning in. Just your belly just rolling.
Ladies, you will be ruined for all other men if you see this.
So what's your overarching goal in doing this for you?
I want to
educate. Is it to just share? Is this just a therapy session? Is it all of the above?
No, see, there's a certain therapy for me is that one certain word that I use a lot when I'm in the car or in the closet drinking again.
Yeah.
And I use that word a lot for my therapy, so I don't want to throw that word out because I don't know. We might get flagged if I just did that the whole time. We're just going to say this a whole bunch. No. If anything, it's just to. I hate using the word empower because to me it's lost its meaning.
Sure.
I wanted to say.
But it still has meaning.
It's kind of meaning. It does have meaning.
Yeah.
But it's to parents like myself that. You start out, you get the diagnosis, and I had thoughts and goals for myself. I wanted to do that. By this age, I was going to do this. By this age, I'm doing this. And by, this time, I was going to be this or this. Whatever it was that you were set out to be. A lot of times we're engulfed with the fact of like, and it's fear, it's obligation. It's all those things that, these children were placed in my arms for me to do these things.
Yeah.
Just as a decent human, this is what you do: provide, care for,
sure.
Give them a life. And that so quickly we're like, okay, well, here's all my stuff. So is there a place you can put this?
Mm-hmm.
What is there a junk drawer we can slide this list into?
So like
because
the
I've got to focus. Yes,
that you had going into
parenthood, going into life, all these different things. So one of the main goals is to let them know that. That's not. I mean, you can take that list back and go, hey, how about we change this here? Do this. Oh, we can do this. Sure. That's not even on the list.
Yeah,
it's all the things.
Edits.
Yes,
you
edit
don't
that.
Have to burn it.
Yes, and realize that your life can have so much meaning. For the longest time, and then the very beginning of all this stuff, I prayed for my kids to be completely saved from this debilitating. Disease or all the issues, because there's not, we've got autism, we have ADHD, we have social emotional disorders, we have sacroagenesis, Chiari malformation,
medical issues
tethered spinal cords, all these different things that we've dealt with. Hypospadias, one of our boys has some jacked up junk.
We'll save him for the.
That's another story.
That. Yeah, we'll save that one.
I couldn't go away from it, but like all those things. And to realize and just to think that you can look down and once watching them as resilient as they've shown me to be, it's like, my kids are broken. Oh my gosh, what do I do? I have broken children. Holy hell. My children showed me like, hey, dumbass, look at what we can do. And it showed me because I prayed for them like, oh, please take this away. And the very end, through all their struggles and all them getting through all the stuff that they have and been told no, and we've kept on going. It changed me as a person completely from top to bottom. I'm a better human, a better husband, a better father, which they might say I was scolded by Jacob last night because I made him go to bed before 3 o'clock in the morning. And, I have rights. You got a right to get in bed and shut up. But it just, I want to utilize all that to show that if you just keep pressing on, that things are going to get so much better. Yeah. But then you're going to do things that you never, ever, I would have never spoken in front of people. I would have never been up there. I was a home builder when I first started out. I like sock hats, long beards, and I'm not talking to people. Yeah. Like, don't even look at me.
Sure.
Now I like sock hats, long beards, and I kind of hate people. So, but anyway.
How far you've gone.
But I talk in front of people now. I got a podcast, Curtis. But it was some of the, it's all of those things kind of squeezed into one little nugget of just, if anybody gets anything from this, that I've done my job. Yeah. It's just at least if I can help one parent realize that they have so much worth, that they're not, and it's just, they're not just a parent. I mean, we kind of get engulfed in that, and you totally drink the Kool-Aid on the sits, and that's please take that out. Yeah. If I ever say drink the Kool-Aid again, throw the mic at me, hit me right in the mouth, because I've heard so many people say that.
Kool-Aid's delicious.
I love Kool-Aid.
There's nothing wrong with Kool-Aid. Shout out to our sponsor of this episode, Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid Jammers. Oh yeah!
Coffee break.
Is this on? We went last week to Texas, Curtis, and we went to Busey's.
You went to what?
Busey's.
What the hell is Busey's?
Buc-ee's.
Oh, Buc-ee's.
Have you seen that lady on there?
I've still never been to a Buc-ee's.
The family and I are at Busey's. They're like the Buc-ee sign behind her. Oh, it's so good.
No,
they've redone it 1,000 times.
Okay.
But yeah, she originally was like, "We were at Busey's, everybody."
Gotcha.
Yeah, if I could picture your mom being out there going, "Curtis, get close.
Look at him, he's got a little beaver boy. Look at him, he's so cute with his hat on."
Oh my gosh.
So this is from the Apple TV show with Ricky Gervais you were talking about. What's it called? Afterlife?
Yes. Okay. I have to breathe because this one always catches me, because it's the whole. I heard this and it just, I was like, oh my gosh, it's beautiful because it's so true.
Yeah.
But it says a society grows great when old men plant trees in whose shade they may never grow. And that's the thing is I think about, I mean, I want this group of people to grow great. I want to plant the trees and help plant these trees that their children are going to benefit from. Yeah. The shade. And that's the thing is we're always talked about, we're up at the school talking with the special ed directors and all the different things that we try to do. And it's like, my kids this is Harrison's last year. He's gone. Yeah. But I've seen all the other ones, and I've grown to love all the other families that are coming. And what can I do? It's my job now. I'm part of this community. Sure. Yeah. What can I do to help them out? And if it's something like this, or something, maybe a dad or mom, everybody can listen to this and laugh and realize it's okay to laugh. It's okay to understand, but it's okay it's amazing to know that there's people like them out there, but there's therapists out there. They're just as emotionally torn up and just mentally unstable. And,
why do you think most of us get into this field? I mean, I'm firmly convinced most people who go into the field of, like psychology or whatever, are really just trying to figure out themselves through that education, and then whatever. But yeah, no, for sure. What do you see? What are the so planting trees to which you will never feel the shade, right? Basically, kind of thing. What are the trees that to you matter most? Like if you could, perfect world, magic wand, you got the keys to change. What are those things that you feel like, man, if this could become different, better, improved, that would be a long lasting change that could help families going forward in these kids and these adults.
We're all on the and I think it's almost a generic answer, but inclusion is the biggest thing. One of the biggest things for us is for our kids to be involved and be a part of something, but to realize their self-worth. I mean, it's the inclusion side of it is kind of the cheapened answer.
Sure.
But
the buzzword.
Sure. But the self-worth.
Yeah.
They are worth every minute of time you spend with them. It's amazing to see the people that call us up and tell us like, oh my gosh, I saw Jacob the other night at Smoky Joe's, and oh my gosh, that kid, he was working his tail off. He was running from table to table. And he said not one table was left without a "How are you doing? Is the food great? This is great food. You're gonna have so much fun." But just not left, smiling as they interacted with him. And if everybody could do that in everything that they do for kids like this, it just, if you want to see true love, you want to see true, just unconditional love and friendship. Just, I mean, our boys, and the thing that we talk when I speak with the new Special Olympics volunteers that come in, I'm like, don't do this if you're just trying to get something good on your resume for school. Don't do this. And not to be rude, I mean, I just want to say that you have to understand the commitment you're putting through, because once you have a friendship with these children, you're friends for life. I mean, it's straight up. They see you in the store, regardless how old you are their friend. And that is so meaningful to us as parents. And, it was creepy at first, because those people, we would be sitting in practices. I got the big eyebrows going, "Hey, what's your story?
Who's that guy?
What are you, no. And then at the very end, I tell them, I'm going to be watching you. I want to be watching you."
That's so funny. That made me just think I had a guy that I saw years ago. So I was 19. I had just, I think it was like freshman year of college. And so I was like, just, barely starting off in this, whatever. But one of the professors there was like, "Hey, you seem really good at this. You seem like a natural. Are you working in this field at all?" I'm like, "I'm 19. I'm working at Toys R Us right now," which is awesome. It was the best thing ever. But at the same time, it was like, okay, so basically, long story short, she connected me with, dude was 19. So we were the same age, right? As the guy that I was like working with. And just the nicest dude ever. Kind of reminds me of Jacob in a lot of ways, just super happy and outgoing. "Hello, and how are you doing?" And just, all the rest of it. And so worked with him for a couple of years through, college and stuff, until I, could no longer do that and moved into kind of furthering in the career. And I haven't seen him a couple times here and there, but man, I saw him like last year. I was at Target, and from like across the store, and he's got like this loud, deep, booming voice. So he's like an almost 40-year-old man, and he just goes, "Curtis! Hey, buddy!" From like way across the, and I was like, "Yay!" And I just went like running over, and it was just like, you didn't miss a beat,
Jacob would do the same thing seeing you. He would bounce all the way to you.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. And when you say, you talk about kismet, or like the reason you got, the thing that for Danielle and I, that gravitated us to you, and to see those things, you could look at you and see. And this is the thing that I use on a lot of kind of examples, and it's just a weird example, but it's a visual that you take with you. If you've ever watched a reel where it's like Southern cooking, you got this woman making a big old thing of mac and cheese, like home cooked mac and cheese. You stick the spoon in, I mean, you can hear it. The noodles are like, just everything sticks together.
Just the stringy cheese stretching. Yeah.
You are that is you. You are so embedded into that stuff. You're mac and cheese, man. And that's the I'm
sorry, what?
I've got a T-shirt that I'm going to be wearing, and that's the thing, is that it's just a big bowl of mac and cheese.
So I'm a big bowl of mac and cheese.
You're a big bowl of mac and cheese, because we see it. We see you, and I see you. There's a creamy old noodle, and it's just like that crusty little cheddar that they put on top and bake in the oven, and it's just like, oh. I mean, you want? I mean, I want to like just lay my face in the middle of it.
I gotta make a T-shirt. Yeah. That's phenomenal.
You want to lay your face in it, because, but that's the thing, is like you're like it, because you can't fake it with like mac and cheese. If you've ever seen the other reel of the girl that changed the recipe for Thanksgiving.
Got it.
Oh, sweet Lord.
Boxed mac and cheese versus that home-cooked, southern, buttery, cheesy. Oh, gosh,
it's covered in butter and cheese.
Bacon bits.
Just anything. I mean,
cracker crust.
Why would you not put bacon in it? Why would,
I don't know.
Who in their right mind?
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is we saw such a deep connection about realism. We saw it. It's just like, this isn't phony.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like I said, when you tell those kids, don't get in this for a resume. For anything from college, get in this because you want to change a life, and you want to be there because, and I've got that group of kids that have still continually taken the boys to the movies and whatever else,
incredible,
and been a part of their lives. And I've read that. I read the they went to the movies just the other night, and I read out the text message to the group I spoke to in Yukon, and heck, cried my eyes out. I was reading it just because it was like, I don't do this as an obligation. These are they've bettered my life.
Yeah.
I want to be in their lives because they're awesome.
Yeah, these are my friends.
Yeah.
Not because it makes me feel good about what I'm doing, or because it makes me look good to other people because of what I'm doing. But like, they're just cool. I just like hanging out with them.
And as a parent, that's what makes it so.
Yeah, you can't fake it.
Because I mean, and this is the other side of things, is that automatically when we walk in new situations, if I don't know you, I'm already on the defense.
Yeah.
What's your story?
Sure.
What bullshit are you going to throw at me and try to make me, try to spoon feed me something that's going to be the best thing for my kids? Yeah. I want to see how the realism, and it was like immediately. And that's the thing is like, and man, I feel I'm blowing smoke right up your tail like crazy. I'm not. I don't think that. I don't want to be blowing smoke in your tail. And build you up, because then.
Oh yeah, no, my ego can't. It's already.
Is it pegged? Is it high?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
But no, it's just that's the thing, is that there's so many reasons why, and we can kind of throw them all into one. But it's like, it's let them know that there are people out there that are that genuine. Yeah. And as parents, it's like you don't want to let go, but once you get to that point to where, oh my gosh, I can drop them off here, I can let go here, I can do this, and I don't have to sit and make sure that they're gonna, or I don't have to intercede and say, like, I'm sorry, this is
gonna worry.
No, it's
because I feel like that's one of the like consistent, just like persistent, kind of never-ending just feelings that when you've got a kid who's different, there's just this ever-present like worry. And I imagine, I think it's all parents, it's just turned up, right? Like you have a neurotypical child, I imagine you worry about her all the time. You know what I mean? I worry about her all the time, but it's just like everything's cranked up. Yeah. Like if it's normally a volume 5, we're cranking that up to a 9 or 10 on worry or fear or whatever that thing might be. So to have anybody who you feel truly, I think, safe, with, somebody who you can trust, I feel like that's everything. And it's finding those people. Yeah. And there's a lot of good people out there, but I mean, I agree. It's a hard field. Yeah. Right? Like it's a hard gig, Like I see a lot of amazing people who care greatly all around me all the time. But I've also seen a lot of people who start off caring greatly, and eventually it wanes. And it doesn't. I mean, it's hard. It's a hard gig. You know what I mean? Especially for me, because I'm so much of an empath. I have trouble not absorbing and taking on. Like I don't have that clinical professionalism that like some people have. That like I wish I could be a little better about that almost, but I almost don't. No, don't. Because I feel like that full like I feel your pain, but not in the like cliche kind of a sense of it, but like no, I actually feel a tremendous amount of emotion for the trouble that you're having, for the pain that you're experiencing, or for the joy that you're experiencing, and the successes that you're getting. And I feel like that's part of what makes me good, is I actually do care. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like probably too much. You know what I mean? But that's the beauty of it. I mean, you're a part in to sometimes to your detriment, you become a part of our families. Yeah. Yeah, God. and it makes you even as messed up as us. Yeah. But I can remember the moment, and again, your defenses are always up, but I remember we dropped him off at elementary school, and I can remember driving through the parking lot and waiting because they were out. Excuse me. Catch up here. But I remember driving up to the parking lot and kind of setting as I knew they were going out to like a little recess. Oh, okay. And I could watch Jacob just walking the fence line, back and forth, over and back. Not one child with him, and he was just like a fenced animal, but just watching the non-interactions. We have a picture that we keep with us, and we utilize it sometimes in slideshows or whatever else. It's of his classroom. They're all on the slide, up the ladder and things, and Jacob is over here by like 4 or 5 feet by himself. And it's just moments like that as an educator or as anybody that's in charge, like, slide that kid or get somebody over, like do something, but you see all those moments. And that's why, it's like the defenses are up. What are you going to do? What picture am I going to take of you with my kid, doing this or that I'm going to use later on against you? Yeah. It's that, and I'm trying to help people to realize that you don't always have to be, keep that defense in you. Utilize that. Yeah. I mean, make them think you're going to cut them in the parking lot. Yeah. But at the same time, think, I may bring you a Coke and a basket of chocolates next time too. Yeah. Just in case. Chocolates or razor blade, it's your choice. So what are the trees? I love that analogy. So it sounds like inclusion. What other things besides inclusion, or where do you think inclusion is lacking in your experiences? Like schools, I would imagine, are a obvious one outside of school? Where are the things that you've experienced, like things where you're like, man, that didn't go like I would have wanted it to, or that kind of sucked, you know? Like, what are the places, and not calling out any like particular locations, but like, are there other places where maybe that surprised you?
What time does he get off work tonight? What time's he usually walking in the parking lot? You know, there's moments like those.
Oh, I'm sure.
But it's the thing is to not take complete offense to it that they're not accepting, because there's a lot of people that have never had experiences.
Oh, yeah.
Still to this day, as you know, we started off, it was 1 in 1,000, then 1 in 500, then one, you know,
it was 1 in 14,000 when I was in college.
Gosh, yes, and then drastically.
Yeah.
Now you see it. I mean, there's not a lot of people that haven't been touched by stuff like this, or disability in general.
Yeah.
But a lot of them that have not had to work with or directly or real understand that utilizing people that just makes things so much better for even their own business. We've seen like Jacob's bringing in money left and right to them.
Yeah.
But it's seeing that, you know, when you go in and someone sees moments of one of our sons that was going to try to play baseball and went in, got on, started doing practice. Quickly you get the phone calls like, you know, they can come to practice, no problem. They're probably not going to play a game because I don't feel, you know, that they're, you know, I just don't feel that they'll make the team or whatever. And there's like, they're having to get kids to come play for the weekend because they don't have enough kids. So it's like, what? But you think about those moments, but then it's also like, you know, Jacob going through the job search.
Yeah.
I mean, you go in a place and they start asking questions, and then it's like, you know, they'll look at their list of like, hey, what is this and this? What's your, and then they're like, they step back as the answers come. I'm like, okay, well, we're done here, and then you don't get asked back, or they start veering the questions off to either the job coach and not, you know, utilizing them as a person. Yeah. And that's the thing is that, you know, and we went through an experience just trying to get a driver's license and a bank account for Jacob to get a job and to be a contributing member of society.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest issue we've had in forever.
Really?
Is that, you know, if he's got a disability, he can't do this. He's not going to drive a car. Well, he has to do A, B, and C. You know, there's all these moments that we had going through that, the process of the red tape and things. It took us almost 2 months just to get a driver's license, to get him a bank account so that he could have a place to go to.
Really?
And, you know,
I had no idea. So there's like barriers even just
there's so many barriers.
Things.
And we were told there's 2 different banks. They're like, you know, I thought that we had things in place for people, neurodivergent people and people with challenges and things. I'm sorry, we don't. And it's like, it's 2023.
Get him a bank
What
account.
the-
What the
this-
hell are
I
you
just
doing?
want-
How
yeah.
hard is that?
We had a paper stating, you know,
Wow.
this is the you know, we had to go through to do all the driver's license issues. And, you know, Jacob, we walk into the DMV with like 300 of the most angry, pissed off humans. And he opens his door. Well, hi. I've never had more eyeballs sticking to me that wanted to punch me in the throat. And it's like, yeah.
People are the worst. That would be like, this just made my DMV experience 1,000 times better.
so
I
much
have something to
better.
hang out with now. Because all the rest of these people are just like, zoning out, playing the phone. That would have made my day.
And he made the attendant that was getting us fixed up, he made her smile.
I'm sure.
It's like, really?
How could he not?
She didn't spit on us or anything.
That's a first.
But it's like those moments. Wow. It's like we had to go through so much trouble just to do the most basic of things. And based on the fact that, you know, disabilities or whatever else is going on. So that would be another kind of one of the parts of the trees that we look at. Yeah. The self-worth. And that's not just with their children. Yeah. It's not just wanting the people in the community to realize the self-worth of our children, but the self-worth of us as parents. Because again, we're just seen as, oh, that's Jacob's parents. Yeah. No, that's Duane and Danielle. Yeah. I mean, I know we may be awful humans, but still, we got our place in the world.
Where do you think that self-worth, you've said that a couple times, is that like I always think of self-worth or like self-esteem, like a lot of times parents will come and be like, hey, well, I feel like my kids, you know, didn't have a lot of self-esteem, you know, kind of thing. And I feel like you have to give people opportunities to to grow in order to build self-esteem. Like if you just stay in a room and you never have adversity and then overcome it, or have a scary situation and then push through it, how do you ever gain esteem for yourself? Like I don't think you can get it from just like reading a book, you know? And I feel like ultimately the bigger kind of bubble around that little bubble is like a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like
that is very true.
It's not, I feel like, I mean, every human, I don't care who you are, what time, what place, you know, what race, whatever, I feel like that's what everyone's like striving for, or like really, really wanting to have. But that's easier said than done, you know, sometimes. And I feel like helping people find their purpose, even if the purpose is this job or this being this friend or having, you know, this responsibility. But I feel like that's like a core feature in order to gain this greater sense of accomplishment and esteem, and you know, that it has to come from, you know, purpose, you know, whatever that for all people, you know. So I think trying to find kids and trying to help them in young adults of like, why are we getting out of bed? Like life has to exist for more than just gaming, you know, more than just playing video games, more than just reading anime and manga for 15 hours a day, right? Like,
and it happens.
We have to have more purpose than that. There's nothing wrong with having hobbies, you know, nothing wrong with hobbies. Well, I gotta have them, but like, what's the purpose? You know, why are we getting up? And I feel like that's the piece that is missing most. And I think for most people, job, at least, I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe it's just like a man thing. I hear people say that a lot, like men are driven towards like, you know, the job, like that becomes like purpose, you know, and finding multiple purposes, you know, of doing what I do for a living, being a husband, being a father, being a friend, you know. And so for somebody who employment might be difficult, relationships might be difficult, how do we help them find purpose? And I feel like that is one of the bigger like missing links that I'd like to try to figure out and explore and grow. If there was a tree that I would like,
how do we get that thing into
that would be one of mine, of like giving purpose to people who feel, even if they're not, but people who feel purposeless.
One of the things that my daughter Libby has talked about numerous times is noticing people when they go in to talk to especially in the classroom or in the lunchroom or they're doing whatever. It's that the generic salutations, so to speak. I'm talking down to them a little bit in the sense of, and I'm
like, hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Yeah.
Hey, guy.
Oh, it's so
condescending.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that you know, Harrison's going to call you on it straight up. He's just going to be like, I don't have a filter. I don't have time for you. Piss off. I got things to do.
Love it.
But there are others, like, I mean, Jacob, he thrives. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They are my friend. They love me. They said hello to me. Yeah. Then the next time you see that person, and that's it's maybe different. And then it's like, what did I do, Dad? What did I do wrong? I said hi, and they wouldn't say hi back. And then they giggled, or they did this, or they were with their friends and they didn't. You know, so it's those moments of like, you know, the self-esteem part there. I can remember talking about, you know, there's issues between all of our boys doing stuff, but then watching as one of our boys would just sit there and would have no interactions. You'd have interactions with this one, and it would be generic and all that, the fun part. Yeah. And then the other one, it was like, oh, it's more of a difficult situation. So let's just not talk to that person, or let's not interact, and we'll just, you know, we're not going to engage, and we're not. So there's three different levels that we have that the self-worth and the self-esteem, we're getting attacked in different ways. I mean, one is getting attacked positively, which can have a giant adverse effect later on in society. So again, what I said earlier, as far as when you take this role and they, you know, we kind of form a friendship, you're friends for life. I mean, there's nothing you're going to do that they're always going to be there, and they will be as loyal a friend as you will ever find.
Absolutely. And
to keep that, and to have people that really have taken to that, it's kind of short lived. But then at the same time, the ones that have, it's been amazing, and the kids have so much fun. There are numerous amounts of trees, and I could just kind of go through all the stuff that I'd love to plant. Yeah. But the main ones to start off with is empowering the parents, self-worth of the parents and the children, and just realize that your life has purpose, has meaning, and just starting off and finding how to do that. Just that first step of, you know, grabbing that first branch, you know, climb that tree. get on that first branch, start moving up. There's the leaves on the tree too. There's all these different parts. That's what's the beauty of a tree is that you can use them. I mean, you get the roots down. You got all this stuff. I mean, we're going to be talking about trees a lot. There's bark. There's all kinds. There's sap. Sometimes there's
sap. There's little acorns and little nuts. Sometimes
there's a squirrel. Look at the little fuzzy squirrel. So there's all these things that are going to fall into play, and that's what I think. Daniel and I have used trees a bunch and stuff.
They make for great metaphors.
Yeah.
There's so many different layers to them.
Look, there's a naked man running through the forest of trees.
Right there, again, limitless possibilities. Oh man. Well, I'm really glad that you decided to do this and wanted to do it, wanted to take that on, because I think it is such an important thing for families, and hopefully something that people connect to and brings, I think, hope. Again, such a cheesy hope, but what's the point of all this if we don't have hope? You know what I mean? Just life in general. So I hope it's something that brings people a sense of hope or purpose, or to give them a drive to do something new, or just to spark something in them, or connect them with other people. So I'm really glad that this was something that God put on your heart. And thank you for including me. I still don't know why.
That's the thing is that, and I don't want to say this again, man. I'm talking so much nice things about you that it just
stop.
I need a wire brush shower.
Please stop. Oh, I can't handle this. Oh,
hold me and brush my hair is all I want to say. But honestly, I wanted to start something, but I was thinking that once you and I sat and talked, it was like that epiphany is like all those moments. Like when did you have this? And it was when we sat down and listened to what we had talked about.
Yeah.
And Daniel and I just immediately looked at each other, and everything that mine was missing just got kicked me right in the crotch.
So I'm like the yin to your yang.
You were that little...
But I feel like we're two yangs. You know what I mean?
We got two wangs, but...
two yins. Yeah, that's true. I feel like we're two yins, but maybe in time we'll have guests and they will be our yang. And
there you go.
Center us. So it's that's the title of everything. Two yins.
Will you be my yang?